Hey everyone, it's me, Miss B, and in today's video, we're just looking at this assignment for Algebra 1, more solving by substitution. So, also, it's a little windy outside. I don't know if my microphone is picking it up, but I'm outside right now. So if it's a little bit windy, hopefully I'm able to edit that out in post, but you never know. So for this one, for this first equation, we're just going to write the equations for the lines that are shown. So on mine, since I have one here in blue and one in red, I'm going to do that for each of these, write the blue one in blue and the red one in red. So for this blue one, it looks like I can see a y-intercept here at 0, 8. And then it looks like it's going down 3 and over 1, so minus 3 and plus 1. So that looks like my slope is negative 3 over 1. And actually this line might be black. Yeah, it's black, but I'm going to still do this one in red to have it stand out. So for the black line, it looks like my intercept is going to be 0, 2. And then the slope on this one looks like it goes up 3 and then also over 1, so plus 3 and still plus 1. So my slope is 3 over 1. Okay, well, those aren't equations yet, but we're going to write them as equations. So let's write these in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 3x plus 8. And then our other one is going to be y equals positive 3x plus 2. Okay, so that's part A. Part B says describe how to find the solution to the corresponding system by looking at the graph. Well, we are going to find the points where the lines cross. So find the points where the lines intersect. That is the solution. So part C is going to want us to use substitution in order to solve this. But I'm also just going to point out what the solution is, the point where these intersect. That's right here, and that looks to be positive 1 and then positive 5. So 1 comma 5 would be the point where those intersect. So now if we use substitution using the equations we wrote for part A, I wrote both of these in slope-intercept form. So I'll just copy them both down here on this next part. So y equals negative 3x plus 8, and y equals 3x plus 2. Now, you'll notice both of these have y isolated. So normally I would pick like which one I'm going to substitute in for. I'm going to just use this top one, and I'm going to say that instead of y, we will use negative 3x plus 8. So on my next equation, instead of y, just on this side, I'm going to have negative 3x plus 8. That's going to be equal to the same stuff from the right-hand side, 3x plus 2. So a little bit different, but we can still do it. So let's add 3x to both sides because I see 3x here that I want to kind of cancel out. So this will still just be 8. And we'll have 6x plus 2. Let's subtract 2 from both sides. I still need to continue my work. So if I subtract 2 from both sides, I'll get that 6 is equal to 6x. And we divide everything by 6. And you'll get that x is equal to 1. Okay, so far, so good with x equals 1. Now, we want to take that back to our original equation, or our first equation. And that was y equals negative 3x plus 8. So now we're going to say y is negative 3, and our value for x was 1 plus 8. So this means just negative 3 plus 8. And so that's the same as 8 minus 3, which is 5. And our last step is to write everything all together. So x value and then y value. And this is exactly what I got in the part above it. So it should work for us for both methods. Well, it does work for both methods. We're just showing that it works for both methods. That's going to bring us then to question 2, which is solving both of these systems by substitution. And so again, we're practicing a little more with stuff in slope-intercept form, but we're able to just put both of these equal to each other. So I'm going to use, not plaque, I'm going to use 4x minus 3 as my substitution here. So we'll have 4x minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 9. Let's add 2x to both sides so that I can get all my x terms over to the left. 6x minus 3 equals 9. And then we're going to add 3 and add 3. So we'll have 6x equals 12. When we divide by 2, we'll get x equals, or I'm sorry, we're going to divide by 6 and get that x is equal to 2. Mixing up my questions here a little bit. So now we then need to plug back in and find y. Y is equal to 4x, but x is 2, minus 3. So y is equal to 8 minus 3, and y is equal then to 5. So we're going to write it as 2 comma 5. I'll do this next one with red, so that way it hopefully stands out a little bit more. We're going to do this fractions part. So I'm going to use this part of the top one as my substitute. We'll have 5 over 4 x minus 2 equals negative 1/4 x plus 19. I'm not actually going to get rid of my fractions yet. I'm going to add 1/4 x to both sides, because that's going to get rid of it here. And so when I add 1/4 x over here, we're actually going to get 6 over 4 x minus 2 equals 19. Now that I have all the x terms together, I'm going to multiply everything by 4. You could have done that at the earlier stage, but that's okay here too. So let's multiply everything here by 4. I guess I'll show that with blue. So this whole side by 4, and the 19 by 4. So with the 6 over 4x, it is not going to change the 6 at all. It is just going to get rid of the 4 in the denominator. So that will leave us with, we'll continue my work up here in red. So this will still just be 6x, but then we'll have to do 2 times the 4 and get negative 8. This is going to be equal then to 19 times 4, which is 76. 2 more steps. We're going to add 8 to both sides. 6x equals 84. And then we're going to divide both sides by 6. So 84 divided by 6 is going to be 14. So x is equal to 14. Then we're going to plug it back in. So we're going to have y equals 5 over 4 times 14 minus 2. So I'm going to do 14 times 5 and then divide by 4 in order to do this. So multiply by the numerator and divide by the denominator. So 14 times 5 is 70, and then if I divide by 4, I get 17.5. I'm going to just use decimals here, that's fine. So this is 17.5 minus 2. That's going to be 15.5. And then that means I'm going to write everything all together here as an ordered pair. It's going to be 14, comma, 15.5. And that is our answer for part B. That's going to be it for the front page, so we're going to move on to the back, and then I know this assignment is only one page front and back, so after we're done with this stuff here, we'll be done. So question 3 has parts A and B, so let's dive in. This one here, I am going to use y as my substitute. Well, y is the teacher in this explanation, and 6x is the sub. So with my class, I normally say, okay, what does class look like with the sub there instead? So it's going to be 4x plus, and instead of the normal teacher, they have 6x. And then everything else is the same. It's 7. So I don't need the parentheses here because I don't have to multiply anything. So we can kind of ignore them. And then just do 4x plus 6x, which is going to give me 10x is equal to 7. Divide both sides by 10. And I'm going to leave this as 7 over 10 because it doesn't really reduce. And it is okay to not get whole numbers. But after we're done plugging in, we take it back up to the original equation. Y is equal to 6x. So y is equal to 6 times that 7 over 10. You could say or. On this one, 7 over 10 is just 0.7. 6 times, if you're using this as a fraction, you do 6 times 7 for the top and divide by 10. 6 times 7 is 42 over 10. This is or 4.2. So let's just write this one out as an ordered pair with the decimals. We'll say 0.7 and 4.2. And that is our answer for part A. Let's scoot over and do part B. If y is going to be 3x, everywhere I have a y, I'm going to plug in 3x. X is still fine to be here. It's going to equal -2, and then instead of y, 3x in parentheses. Then we have plus 70. So let's multiply this out. -2 times 3 is -6x plus 70. So let's add 6x to both sides. And we'll get here that this is 7x equals 70. And when we divide both sides by 7 to get x by itself, you get that x is equal to 10. Now, we need to bring that back up to the original equation. Y equals 3x. And so y is going to be equal to 3 times 10. And 3 times 10 is 30. So our overall answer is 10, 30. Okay. We only have a couple more here. Looks like 4 more questions. So let's jump into this next one. So for 4a, x here is what we're going to consider the quote-unquote teacher, and we're going to have 6y plus 4 be our sub. So we'll have class looking exactly the same, except instead of x, we get 6y plus 4. And then it's still minus 12y equals 4. Started to do this one with my class as an example earlier and noticed something fishy happening because, hey, look, 2 times 6y, it's going to be 12y. And then 2 times 4 is going to be 8. Those are both positive. But then I have minus 12y and equals 4. Well, when I combine like terms, negative 12y and positive 12y go away. So I'm just left with 8 equals 4. And I know that 8 is not equal to 4. So this means that there is no solution. Because no matter what the value is for y, we're still going to have the same amount after multiplying it by 12 and negative 12, and it's still going to go away. So in this case, when we end up with a false statement like that, there is no solution. Now I know that B does have an answer, so let's look at part B here and solve this one. So substitute is going to be 6x minus 8, so we'll have 3x plus, I still like to use parentheses, 6x minus 8 equals 10. And in this case, we don't need them because there is no coefficient on y, but it's still good practice. So We can just add 3x and the 6x, and this is 9x minus 8 equals 10. We'll add 8 to both sides. That is going to give us 9x equals 18. So then we'll divide both sides by 9 and get that x is equal to 2. We have one last little piece to do here. We're going to take this all the way back to the original equation of y equals 6x minus 8 and plug the x value in. So y is equal to 6 times 2 minus 8. So that's 12 minus 8, and 12 minus 8 is 4. So this one is going to be 2 comma 4 as our ordered pair answer. All right, 2 more left to go. So it's part A and B of number 5 down here, and this one is just solving. So these are things with pieces already plugged in, only one variable. I'm just going to do the work here. So I'm going to distribute this 2 across. So 2 times 5, 10, and then 2 times negative 2, negative 4y plus 6y equals 16. We'll combine our like terms. This is still going to be 10. This is now going to be a plus 2y, and it's equal to 16. So we'll minus 10 from both sides to keep things balanced, but move that 10. 2y is going to be equal to 6, which means when we divide by 2, that y is equal to 3. And that's part A. Part B, we're just using x. Now, I have a couple options here on where I can start. So if you're confused on where to start, don't be worried. There's more than one place, and if you chose a different place than the one I'm going to show you, that's okay too. I could start by taking this and trying to distribute it all the way through. That's valid. I could also start by noticing I have a negative x here and trying to like combine it with this x on the other side, so I just have this piece. Or I could decide I want to multiply everything by 2 to kind of like cancel out with this 1/2. Those are my options. Any of them are valid. You know what? If I multiply everything through by 1/2, that works. And it gives me some numbers. So I'm going to actually start with the distribution, even though I don't think that was really going to be my plan starting out. So 1/2 times 2. It's just like asking what is half of 2. So instead of 2x, we're going to have 1x. And half of 4, well, that's 2. It's still going to be minus x because all we're doing is distributing. It's not actually changing the value of anything on the side, so nothing else changes, and it's still equal to x plus 5. So now we can combine like terms. I have 1x and minus x. So those ones are going to cancel each other out. We're just going to be left with 2 is equal to x plus 5. So now I can subtract 5 from both sides, and that will get x by itself. And I will have negative 3 equal to x. I like to write it with x on the left side. It's the same thing as x equals negative 3. And that's our answer. And that is the whole assignment. So hopefully my walkthrough of these questions helped you out. And if not, please make sure that you ask questions of your teacher in class. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and yeah, hope this helped.